Welcome to your Tangos de Triana course. So this kind of tangos that we're going to be learning is from Triana, and Triana is a neighborhood or a district across the bridge from Seville in Andalusia, Spain. And even more specifically than calling it Tangos de Triana, we can call it Tangos del Titi. So Titi was a very famous singer, a Gitano singer from Triana, who created a whole style of tangos very specific to him, and that many people carry on today. So they carry on the tradition of Titi's tangos. And from that stylistic tradition of the Tangos del Titi come many different movements. So there's a whole stylistic school around not only the Tangos de Triana, but more specifically those from Titi, El Titi. Okay, so what we're going to do in this first lesson is learn the Salida, which remember is your entrance, the start of your dance, and the first Remate, which is your first break. Okay, so what we're doing is we're dancing through the first the first line of the first letra, and at the end of that line, we're going to respond with a Remate that's over 2 compás, so over 2 measures of music. Okay, so let's listen to it first and see me do it, and then I'll break it down so you can do it with me. Okay, so let's listen and you can watch me run through it. Okay.
Ya vienen bajando por la escalera. Ya vienen bajando por la escalera.
So the first line, we're hearing her sing, and during that first line, we are doing a marking step that we can consider our entrance or our salida. Once that first line is done, once she closes the cante, the singing, in the guitar we're hearing ram, ta, tam, tam, ram, tam, and that is 2 compás, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And in those 2 compás, in those 2 measures, we're doing our first remate, okay? So remember that the palmas for tangos, and remember you have a whole course on tangos in which we learn tangos palmas, or palmas por tangos. You can refer back to that to learn more about the tangos palmas. But essentially we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and for a break, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You also hear remates in the music with this kind of feel. Ra, ta, ka, ta, ka, tam. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it's the same thing, the same amount of time, and we are going to be hitting that with our remate. Okay? So let's look at the movements themselves and put it all together. So the first thing we're going to do is take our skirt, or you can use a shirt or a scarf or whatever you're wearing. You're going to take it about from halfway, put it onto your hips, kind of in front. So not back here, but a little bit in front. Elbows forward. And your hands are not like this, right? We want our hands to be tucked in and our elbows forward and poised, okay? We're going to be in this position, and you can see from the side that I'm not upright. I'm a little bit down because we want this movement to be low and kind of earthbound, down to the ground, okay? We want to be low and flexed in our knees so that we're able to move our hips side to side, and the back is not completely hunched over, but it's not straight either. It's just kind of relaxed, and we have this very downward, earthbound energy, okay? What we're doing in that position with our hands on our hips, holding our skirt, elbows forward, hands tucked in, we're going to start on the left, and we're going to just do 1, 2, 1, 2, which really is, in terms of the count with the compás, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not even really picking up my feet. I'm kind of just moving my weight, shifting my weight side to side. And what's happening is I'm putting my weight into my hip each time, The hip is going back to the diagonal. So I'm not going side to side with my waist. I'm not working with my waist. I'm working with my hip. And I'm sitting each time. Each time I go from side to side, it's like you're taking a seat on that side. This movement is the same movement or the same feel that we do when we're waiting, when we're standing in line and we're doing this. Okay? So you know that feeling already. You don't do that from a waist position. You do that from a sitting or a seated position into your hip, which goes backwards. So it's glutes and the back of your hips. Okay? So again, we're here. We're going to start on the left side so that we coincide for the remate, starting with our right side. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then we're going to come back over here to get the weight off of the right foot. So we're doing 4 sets. If your singer is singing to you live, you're not going to want to count out 4 sets. You're going to want to listen until they're done the first line, and at that point you're going to have remate. Okay, so we try not to count so much in flamenco how many repetitions of each thing. We try to listen to the cante, to the song, and the music to dictate how long we do something. In this case, we're using, of course, recorded music so we can count it out, and it's a nice way to learn as well. So you know when to do the remate, the accent. Okay? The other element to this marcaje, this marking step, is the head. The head is kind of going with the body, but we don't want to overdo it because otherwise it looks too sharp, and we want this feeling to have swing. This movement should have a swing to it that's real natural and kind of that flows. Okay, so we want the head to go side to side, but just kind of slightly. Just kind of a little bit side to side, and our gaze is slightly down. Okay, so it's just that. So let's do it together. I'm going to face the mirror so it's easier to follow along. So we're going to start with our left side, putting the weight into our left hip. And ra-ta-ka-ta, 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 ra-ta-ka-ta. I'm going to go side so you can see that my body is not up straight, but instead I'm down, knees are flexed. Da-da, da-da. And you want to have a little bit of sass, a little bit of attitude with this movement. Da-da, da-da. The movements in Tangos del Titi and Tangos de Triana in general have a lot more, they're kind of sensual, they have a lot more sassiness, attitude, things like that. Often they have that low to the ground, hip accentuated energy. Okay, so feel free to really get down with this kind of a tangos. Okay, so the first line, again, is 4 sets of this first marking step. And then we're going to go into remate. So we start on the left. 1, 2, 3. I, ra, ta, ka, ta. Ba, 2, ta, ka, ta, ta. Third set. Fourth set. And you put your weight back on your left. So that's free on the right side to start the remate. The remate is this. Pa, 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 ra, pa. So what's happening is as soon as I step down, I'm going to go in a circle, going back and then forward. So as soon as I step down my right foot, I'm sitting into my left hip and letting the circle happen backwards first and then forward. Ra, ta, ka, ta, ta. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, scoot your feet together on 3. Okay, all that is we're here and we kind of give ourselves a little flex, a little bit of a bounce to come in. Okay, so again, we've come through the marking step. We're on the left side and we step 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now let's look at the arms. What we're going to be doing is palma on the first step, on the first beat, which is when we step with our right foot. Pa, 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 pa. Okay, so it's palma. Thigh on the right, thigh on the left. palma again. Ra, da, da, pa, pa, ra. Now last movement is shaking out your hand and then bringing it in to your left side. So from the side, it'll look like this. Ra. This movement is simply like when you are trying to shake something off of your hand. It's nothing fancy, nothing more than that. So it's just a shake, and then you bring it in. Ra, ra. And from here, so you can do it with me. Ra. And now with our feet. Ra. Okay, so nothing more than that. Okay, so the remate all together would be this. Palma and the right foot, right, left. Palma as we come forward, and then scoop with that hand shaking and bringing our hand into the left hip. Okay? So it's bam, 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 e, ra. And I'll count it out for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now from the side, all that's happening is in terms of your body and the circle you're making, you're going backwards and then forward. So it's around and then forward. Okay? The first palma happens here, leg, leg. Second palma, when you're forward, and then we scoot a little tiny bit to our left. You don't have to move very much, just a little bit, bringing everything together. And that's the end of the remate. It's also the end of the break of the guitar. So you'll hear da 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 dum, and that's da 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 dum. Okay? And then she starts, our singer, Esperanza Fernandez, starts the rest or the next part of the letra. Okay? The back on that remate is not hunched over, nor is it super straight and stiff. We just want it to be relaxed, okay? So if you were, say you were just warming up and doing something like this, it's just like that. It's just like a warm-up movement with rhythm and some style, okay? So you all, I'm sure, have done this at one point in your life, doing movements or warm-up or stretches or whatever, and it's the same thing. It's just that. You can go way down, you can go just a little bit down, give it your own personality, your own flair, okay? Okay, let's put this together first without music, and then we're gonna use our music to put it all together. So let's grab our skirt. The music, when it comes on, there's a bit of a couple compás without singing, and what we're gonna do there is just get our body moving and start on our left. And then when she sings, we're all already on the right side, on the correct side, and we can just start to move. Okay, so the music, say the music's already playing, the guitar's playing, we're here, da da, e ra, da da, e ra. We get our head going, da da, and she starts. And 1, da ga da, 2, da ga da, 3, da ga da, last 1, da ga da, ra, pa, 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 ra. Okay, so that is your salida, which is this, your entrance, and your first remate, which is your break. And that gets us to our second marking, because we can consider this a marking step, okay, as the letra continues. All right, so let's do it 3 times with our music so you can practice a few times in a row. And then the next lesson, you'll start to see the next marking step, and we'll just keep continuing on from there, from one lesson to the next.
Ya vienen bajando por la escalera. Ya vienen bajando por la escalera.